Let's talk about £87 million a year. Speed awareness courses hitting a record high. This is the number of drivers taking awareness courses for offences such as speeding. Police are believed to have earned this money. Well, earned is a strong word. About 2 million people completing a national driver offender retraining scheme. Sounds a bit sinister. In 2023, that is a 9.5% increase on the last year and up 30% from 5 years ago. Well, about 10 years ago, I did one of these courses. I got into a relationship and I was driving to the house and I got caught by the same speed camera twice in a week. And the first one I was allowed to do a speed course. I thought I got the two tickets. I thought they were for the same thing. They're actually for two separate offences of going over 30 miles an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone. So that was an expensive week for me. So I went to the course, the driving course, which I think was £77. That was about 10 years ago. I'm sure there are more now. We'll ask our next guest about that in a second. And, 4 hours of my life. And the bit where I lost it, when you sort of have kind of like in Dragon's Den where you just go, I'm out, was when the woman said, never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. And I just thought that's just crap. Anyway, someone who's not going to talk that, who's going to make a lot of sense, is Nick Freeman, who Mr. Loophole himself, a motoring lawyer. Nick, more people going on these courses and avoiding penalty points. Good thing, bad thing? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, Peter. At the moment in London, we've got 90 miles of road just in London, which is subject to a 20 mile an hour limit. We're seeing this is going to be unfolded throughout the country, and more people are going to fall foul of travelling at 20 miles an hour, in excess of 20 miles an hour, because it's too slow, it's counterintuitive, it just doesn't make any sense. Cars aren't comfortable travelling at that speed, and that's reflected in the statistics that you quoted today. 87 million pounds, I think you said.
That's right.
The police get £45 for every course done. That's supposed to cover administrative charges, and any excess is supposed to go to road policing and making our roads safer. We really don't see any police officers on the road. You've talked about the incident that you were involved with, and when you're stopped by a police officer, it has a sort of salutary effect upon you, and you actually drive carefully for a period of time. Of course, you didn't know at the time you committed the second offence that you committed the first offence, so you didn't have the benefit of that warning. And that's a big problem with the sort of policing that's currently going on at the moment.
And it was a fixed camera as well with me, as is the case with so many people as well. So I didn't see the flash go off. I just got it through the post. And as you say, sometimes it's a police officer, sometimes it's other people. The 20 mile an hour thing is really interesting as well. You mentioned London, also Wales. We have a lot of viewers and listeners in Wales who are really not happy with the 20 mile an hour limits there. Now, they're being reviewed by the Welsh government, the Labour government there as well. Yeah. But that is something, it's so easy to go over 20 miles an hour.
Well, the cost to the economy in Wales, we're talking about billions of pounds that it's costing the economy. And you may have heard a few days ago, there was the World Junior Cycling race that's in Wales, and it's about 267 miles, 7 miles which needed to be conducted through 20 mile an hour limits. And the cycles go a lot faster than 20 miles an hour. So they've had to change the race, shorten it, alter the area that it's gone at great cost to the economy, because the cars would need to travel at more than 20 miles an hour to keep up with the
cyclists. Yeah, well, it just shows you how low 20 miles an hour actually is. Does it make, you're a motoring lawyer. I just wonder, does it make it safer in any way? Obviously, if you're headed 20 miles an hour, that's probably not going to be fatal, whereas if you're headed 35, it may well be.
Absolutely. Of course, if you hit it at a faster speed, you're going to obviously have more damage. But the statistics show, interestingly, that it's carbon neutral, because when you're travelling at 20, you're in your car for a lot longer. And the other thing that's very interesting is, in terms of the injury and the accidents, there's absolutely no difference with a 20 mile an hour speed limit and a 30 mile an hour speed limit. So it's fiscally inspired, and it's causing massive damage to drivers, because they're sitting there often on empty dual carriageways, sitting at 20 miles an hour and not supposed to touch your phone, not be distracted. You're obsessed with your speedometer. And when we drive, we're taught to be spatially aware, look what's happening all around you, drive and drive responsibly. But, you creep over that 20 mile an hour and you're going to get a ticket through the post. So it's a really unhealthy thing. And the government should, as the previous government realised, think we're going to reverse it. In Wales, when they introduced it, I was quite vocal about what a bad idea it was. Everyone who initially agreed with it came round to the fact that it was a bad idea and the government are now thinking of abandoning it. And I can't see any benefits at all other than raising revenue for departments such as the police who need money urgently. And it makes their job quite easy, doesn't it, when they don't have to do it.
You're absolutely right. And there is a question about this as well in terms of revenue raising, because we hear this a lot about people saying ULEZ, for example. It's not just in London, it's in lots of other parts of the UK where there are low traffic neighbourhoods, there are ultra low emission zones where you've got to pay a fee, and things like these speed awareness courses. And another interesting point you made there about the 20 miles an hour. I don't drive in London, but when I'm at home in Northern Ireland, I'm insured on the car of my father's mystery female companion, and I drive, and I must say there are speed limits there. It's not just 20, but 30 as well, where sometimes you do find yourself looking at your speedometer a lot, to the extent that you might even be not aware or avoiding what's going on the road.
Of course, we don't want that. We're obsessed now, aren't we? Particularly when you're driving, but in London, with the speed of your vehicle. Because I drive down to London literally every week, and when I come off the M1, get onto the Finchley Road, there's certain parts of that road that I'm just constantly pressing my brakes, which is not a natural way. It's not a good way for the environment. It's not good for the car, because my car will travel at 23, 24 miles an hour without me. And there's no particular decline there. It's just the way cars are geared now. So, as I say, it's counterintuitive and it makes no sense. It does make sense to say, let's have a dynamic 20 mile an hour speed limit, near schools, and when they're going to school, when they're coming back from school. I can understand the sense in that. But just unfolding this throughout the country, it has one effect, and that is to raise money. It does no good, and I think it really does damage drivers' mental health, but because they're sitting there wanting to get on. But
you would presumably say to your clients to take a speed awareness course?
Absolutely. They have a choice, don't they? If you don't take the course, and the maximum cap on the course is 10% plus 9 miles per hour. So if you take a course, you pay a fixed fee between £72 and £95. That's the end of it. There's no enhanced insurance premium, which, except with one particular company, I'm not going to name the company, but there's only one company who actually regards that as a conviction. All the other insurance companies, it makes no effect at all. And more importantly, you get no penalty points on your licence. And if you've
been on one of these courses yourself, Nick, haven't you? Was it useful?
I have. It was very entertaining. It was very entertaining because there was a question asked about, how do you know it's a 30 mile an hour limit? When there's no signage, and no one answered the question. There's only 4 people, and by the way, it was an hour's course, not 4 hours. It was on Zoom, so far more palatable.
Lucky thing.
But the interesting thing was, no one answered the question. So I said, isn't it something to do with the spacage between lampposts? And the guy said, no. And I said, are you sure about that? He said, yeah, that went out in the 60s. 10 minutes later, the guy comes out with an expletive and said, oh my God, it's Mr. Loophole, isn't it? He said, you're right. I'm so sorry.
You're correcting the teacher. Like you're the class swap, Nick. Nick Freeman there, motoring lawyer. Thanks very much indeed. Neil.